Hello, everybody. We're ready to dive into the next lesson. So on this lesson 4, we're talking about home routines and objects that you find in the home. And the parameter that I thought we would talk a little bit about is facial expressions. And one of the tips that I wanted to touch on a little bit, which I got at by sending you the video on the audiograms, was the kind of thinking about hearing versus comprehension. So as you think about what it means or what's entailed in hearing somebody and how comprehending what they say is actually a little different. So for instance, if you ask somebody if they heard you, they're going to say yes to what they did hear, but they can't say yes to what they didn't hear. And if you ask somebody if they understood you, they're going to say yes, or they're going to say no. And if you're talking to another adult, of course, it's really easy to suss that out. But if you're talking about content that is novel for somebody, either an adult or a child, but in this case, a child, then you have to wonder, did they understand me or did they not understand me, because it's new information. So think about that when you are asking comprehension questions of your students who have hearing loss, who might not have gotten the whole message, or if they give you a response that is a little different than what you would anticipate based on the fact that maybe they heard you, but they didn't understand all of it. So I hope that whoever of you might have watched that video could have found that useful. Any questions you have, just throw them in the chat box. All right, so first on our list is wake up. So wake up is pinch your fingers by your eyes and you wake up. You wake up. And generally, you use your face for that as well. It's not just wake up, it's wake up. Bath is 2 A hands, A hand shapes, and you do this on your chest. Bath. Shower is, I'm getting out of my signing space here. Shower is like splatting water on top of your head. So go take a shower. Shower. There's a question about how shower is different than light. I assume you mean like the sun, because it's the same thing. Sun has a, like you, it's, sun is a tricky one to do. So it's kind of like grabbing a clump of something, dragging it around in a circle, and then sprinkling it on your head again. Shower is just sprinkling, just kind of flicking water on your head. If there's a question about somebody sleeping and can't hear, how does wake up work? It works with touch or vibration. There are alarm clocks that you can get that, you know, shake a bed. And kids, parents have to go in and actually physically wake them up. Shower and light. So it's different from sun, from light. Light is generally 2 hands and on and off, and it's not as repeated like shower. Get dressed. Dressed is you take your hands, palm towards your body, and you just run it down your body like this, which is basically the same sign as dress. But if you tell somebody to go get dressed, there's a little bit of context that lets them know, you know, you're not telling somebody to literally put on a dress, but you're telling them to cover themselves with their clothes. Eat breakfast. So we talked a little bit about breakfast. So eat morning. Morning. So breakfast. Another initialized sign that people sometimes use is the B shape, breakfast. There's a request for light one more time. So light is starting with your closed fingers and beaming down on you. Beaming down. Breakfast, a question about breakfast and eat breakfast is the same. You know, basically it is, because there isn't a sign and word direct correlation. Signing conveys a concept where words convey smaller concrete things. So, so eat breakfast, you know, breakfast, time for breakfast is the same as saying, let's go eat breakfast. If you were sitting at a table with somebody who is not eating their breakfast, then you would say, eat. You would add that as a thing, but you wouldn't say, eat breakfast and repeat it. Brush teeth. Get your finger, pointer finger, very iconic. Brush hair, same thing. Brush your hair. Kind of rake your fingers. Go to school. So go to is your two pointer fingers. Go to, from one place to another. Go to, and school, as you might remember, is two palms clapping. So technically, go to school, you would say time to go to school, but in the casual atmosphere of a family or people you know, you would just say away, school. Going to school. Watch TV. So this is also sometimes a tricky concept idea. So we've talked about, I see something, look at that. But if you're going to sit and watch something, you make a hand shape like this. So it's an L with a crooked pointer finger, and you put it in front of yourself and you just watch. It's kind of almost like you're holding something there that isn't there, but is directing where you're gazing. Watch there, watch there, watch. TV are just the letters T and V. TV. TV. So watch TV. Or watch the computer, which is what a lot of people are doing these days, correct? Play outside. Sign for play is you have your two Y hands, knuckles facing each other, and you shake them. Play. Outside, you have your palm facing down, flat hand, and you bring your dominant hand up through the space, the crook between your thumb and your forefinger, and you go out. and you end up with this flat O shape again. So you start flat, bring it up, close it, out. It's like taking something out of something. So outside, play. And most of the times you would say outside play instead of play outside, because you're going to set the scene first. And the first scene, if you want to tell somebody what they're going to do, oh, setting up the scene, they're going to be outside. What are you going to do out there? We're going to play. So go play outside could be expressed as outside, play, go there. Eat dinner, same sort of thing as breakfast. So night eat. Night eat. Dinner. The initialized sign for that is a D. Dinner. Homework. Homework is compound sign, just like it's compound word. So home is the sign for home, and work. Homework. Read a story. Book, read. Instead of turning all the pages, you just move your reading eyes from left to right. To tell a story is to do this. So you have your hands and you shift them 45 degrees or so, and you kind of like pulling taffy, and you move them in a circular motion. And this is to tell a story. To share an experience or something really small, you just do it with your middle fingers on your thumbs. Or chit chat, you know, just a little chit chat, or I'm going to tell you a little experience I had, but tell a story. And then this is signing. So story being told in sign. Fist, giving off, giving off, giving off, giving off. So a story in sign. Go to bed has a couple different ways of expressing that. So bed is your palm against your face with a tilt. So you could say go to bed or time for bed, and you close your eyes too. It's part of it. Go to bed. Or this is kind of a funny one. So you take your hand and you bend it so that it's kind of like a G, only all your fingers are out there. And this becomes your bed. And these two fingers on your pointer and your index, pointer and your middle finger on your dominant hand become your legs. And so you go to bed. It's like you tuck yourself into your covers. So a parent could say, go to bed, or time to go to bed. Car. So you do the steering wheel, hit the orientation as if you were really driving, and you do this. Even if it is not an audible thing, it is a visible thing to have your lips going. And keys, take your index finger of your dominant hand, crook it up, take your palm of your non-dominant hand and take your knuckle and put it into the space between your first and middle finger and turn it. In other words, this is the key and that's the socket you put it into instead of going all the way through. So you put that in there and you turn it. And you just do a little wiggle back and forth. That's keys. So some rooms in your house, your kitchen, make a K. And you have your palm up. And you flip it back and forth from front to back. Which would let you know that maybe because kitchen is where you cook. So they're kind of related in their movement, if not their hand shape. But the palm orientation is the same. And comment back up that start is like key. Key is definitely like start. So start, to start something, to start a project, to start a timer, to start doing something is the same thing as key, except key wiggles back and forth and is your knuckle, and start is your fingertip and just goes once. Start, key. A lot of nouns are repeated signs and verbs are single signs, which kind of flies in the face a little bit of the verb being an action. So, but yet when you put it into sign, it's kind of inaction. And a noun, which is a non-action in English, is actually repeated to notate that it is a static thing. So a key wiggles back and forth, but start just goes and does. Bedroom. So you will see this come up a lot. We did this for box. This happens for room. It happens to define a space. So a bedroom is the room where you have a bed. So bedroom. And again, you're making a square with your palms facing you and then facing each other. Living room, live room. Some people do it with A fingers or thumbs up fingers going up for live, and some with an L, living room. So bedroom, living room. Then of course there are the exceptions like kitchen and bathroom. Bathroom is the T, just shaken slightly. Going back to the kitchen, we have a stove. So stove, cook, kitchen. You're gonna need, for cook and stove, you kind of need context to separate out which one of those are which. Sink is you have a, describe the shape of it, and then you have knobs. So a sink is square, and then it has knobs. So put your dishes in the sink. refrigerator is where things are cold and you open a door and close it. So the refrigerator is two signs. Bed, we've done that. Oh, kitchen. Okay, right. So kitchen is K in the cook motion and the stove motion. You can also, if you feel like you're not really clear to either understand or convey it to somebody, you can ask for a finger spelling. And the way you ask for a finger spelling or tell somebody that you're going to finger spell is you hold your hand, your palm out straight towards them, and you just wiggle your fingers and you move left to right. And then you would say S-T-O-V-E or C-O-O-K for cook. Freezer, the same as fridge. Nope. So a refrigerator is cold and has a door that opens and shuts. And a freezer freezes things and opens and shuts. Freeze is you have your hands and you pull them back into a solid, kind of grip. Same claw shape. It's one of those common hand shapes. Couch. So a chair has a place for one person to sit. A couch has room for these legs, several people to sit. So it's a longer chair in a sense, or a longer item to sit upon. So couch, couch. Two fingers crooked, couch. I didn't realize we'd already covered a lot of these. Okay, so chair, chair, couch. There's a question about doing bed again. Bed. And while we're in bed, there's usually pillows. So a bed is where you put your head and a pillow. Pillow. So pillow, you put your head down, but it's soft. And so this is the sign for soft, is your hands opening and then shutting and opening and shutting a little bit. Soft. Pillow, bed. I might have totally made you all confused. But bed, pillow. Table. I think we've done this one too. Table. Question. Bed, eyes open, and sleep, eyes shut. Yes. Because you don't have to be asleep to be in bed, but you do have, you don't have to have your eyes closed to be in bed, but you do have to have them closed to sleep. So bed, sleep. Rocking chair. Rocking chair, make L's, put them like they're guns, crook your fingers, and go back and forth together. Back and forth, back and forth. Rocking chair, rocking chair. Toilet is a T. Floor. So your floor is flat. You put your hands in the bent palm position and you just make a flat surface by moving them apart. Floor. A wall is also a flat surface, but the orientation is not there. The orientation is on the side and it's vertical. So you have your hands, your palms facing you, and one goes up in the straight fashion. And whether you do it on this side or you do it on this side, it doesn't matter. And sometimes you will choose that side based on the description of this place, the space that you're setting up to talk about. So for instance, if you are outside walking and here's your person, it's a pronoun actually. Welcome to your first pronoun is a finger. And you want to notice where you are walking. When you want to tell somebody, well, there was a wall on my left side, you would say, I was walking, there was a wall here. And so you've now created this wall, and then you put yourself next to it. And that says, I was walking next to the wall, just with two signs and some movement. This side, wall, I was walking. Ceiling, same thing. So you have a floor, you have a wall, and you have a ceiling. And you have another wall. If you want to look outside, you generally use a window, which is smaller than a wall. So instead of having your hands kind of fully laid out, you just use your hand space instead of your arms, and you have a window. It goes up and down. Peekaboo. Window. Window. Versus a wall. You see the difference? So you have a wall that's expansive and uses your forearm, or you have a window that is really limited to just the space between the knuckles and the ends of your fingers. Window. TV, computer, we already did those, so TV and computer, C, going backwards on the back of your palm. Plate. Plate is a round thing, so you kind of outline it with your fingers as round, and you put it down. You have a table, you're going to take a plate and put it down. Plate. Make a circle, put it down. Once you put your plate down, you can eat off of it by keeping it there with your non-dominant hand and then using your dominant hand to take food off of it. And that works for a bowl too. So we've got a plate or a small plate, big plate. You have a bowl, which just cups your hands and outlines the shape of a bowl. And this can also be a small bowl or a large bowl, and your eyes are going to match. So it's a small bowl, a medium bowl, or a large bowl, or a gigantic bowl, which also affects the speed that you use it with. And then when you want to say what you're going to do with those, you can keep those in place by just keeping one hand there, since they're two-handed signs. So that kind of holds the space and the image in your head. So a plate, you could have plates, a whole stack of plates, and you could hold them. See, they're plates because I still have my hand up here. And it denotes that I've got a stack of plates and I can give those out. I can set the table. And my hand gets a little lower because my pile gets shorter. Okay, a couple questions to get caught up on. Ceiling and door. We haven't done door yet. But I skipped it. I'm sorry about that. So floor, wall, ceiling. Ceiling is the same as floor, it's just over your head. And door is B hand shapes together, and you open the door and you close the door. Or you open the door and you close the door. And if they're double doors, you open the doors and you close the door. Or if you have a sliding door, slide it, slide it, slide it. Is bowl the same as boat? No, but they do start with the same hand shape. So boat stays together and moves like it's on the water, and your hands are cupped. But a bowl follows the entire contour of the object, so it comes apart, goes up. Bowl and boat. Fork. Take your index in your middle, and you need a surface. So have your flat surface, and you use a fork. It's kind of like your legs, only you're just stabbing it. Fork. And it's repeated. Fork. So you would touch your, stab your food and bring it to your mouth. Spoon is similar, except that, the fork is a little bit separate. A spoon, they're together, and you bend them a little bit, so you scoop. And you can see that the shape is rounded. Question about chopsticks. Chopsticks would be, kind of like scissors, but since you're already talking about food, people would know that you were probably talking about chopsticks, and you would finger spell, because I know there are people who cut their food with scissors, but we're not talking about that. So that if you have food on your plate or a surface, you would use chopsticks, and you would put it down, squeeze it, and bring it to your mouth. And if there was confusion, you would just finger spell it. Good question. Knife, have 2 fingers again, and you're going to cut. So you have your index and your middle finger of your non-dominant hand, and then you take your dominant same matching set and you do a slice. You can also do it off the end. Knife, fork, knife, and spoon, and chopsticks. Cup. Cup. C hand shape, like you're holding a cup. Surface, you pick it up, you drink, you put it down. Cup and glass. Same sign. Cook, we did, flat hand, like pancakes or hamburgers. Clean. You have one hand wiping off the other. Clean. This is like clean up. If you were to look at something and say, oh, it's clean as opposed to being dirty, you just wipe it. That's clean. That's dirty. And yes, it is exactly the same as nice. So context there is going to give you the clue as to what is being communicated. But on some level, clean and nice are generally associated with each other. So probably not a lot of need for clarification, because still talking about concepts. Wash. Take your fist like an A, and you have an object here, and you scrub it. Wash. And if you're just washing in general, like washing the dishes, you go in a circle. Wash. And very much like erase and context to understand. Yep, you got it. Laundry. Think about your washing machine, and in the middle of your washing machine, if you have this type, you have an agitator, right? So it's a column, and it twists like this. So you get your claw hand, and they just pivot opposite directions, and you just do it fast. Laundry. A drawer is something you grab a handle and you pull out of, and it's generally in a piece of furniture. So you might have a table with a drawer, you might have a dresser with a drawer, you would have a desk with a drawer. So generally, to give some sort of basis or context to the action, you have a stabilizing image, which is going to be the top of the piece of furniture. And then your drawer is here or down lower to distinguish that it's a drawer versus just grabbing something. Pot or pan. So a frying pan, cook, stove, frying pan, kind of with plate. So cook, and then you have a handle. But basically, you're going for the concept, right? So if you're talking about a meal that you're going to make, you know, these words don't generally just exist, or these signs don't just generally exist in isolation. So you're going to be talking about something that you're doing. So you're going to cook dinner, you're going to use the, you know, pan, the frying pan, or you're going to use a pot, you know, big pot with a handle, or a small pot with a handle, just the little one. So again, kind of making that sink shape or pan shape, pot shape with a handle. Comb or a brush, same as brushing your hair. And to distinguish whether it's a comb or a brush, you would fingerspell that. So C-O-M-B or B-R-U-S-H. Medicine, have think compounding, or what a pharmacist does. So they've got a table, and they have you know, kind of pestle or that kind of grinds up a pill kind of thing. So that's medicine. In the middle of your palm, middle finger in the middle of your palm. Medicine. Money. This is, you know, your flat O, money. I think that's pretty universal. Sweep. You're going to have a broom handle and you're going to sweep. Sweep, 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 sweep. Soap. Flat palm, bent palm, hand bent at the knuckles, and you just put it on. Soap. Pull it off. Phone is that Y hand shape. And garage, here's your second pronoun. So your first pronoun is a person walking someplace or doing something, right? Another pronoun for a vehicle is this. It's a 3. Take a 3 and put it on its side, and this is a pronoun for vehicle. So you would say the car, boom. You would establish what it was first. You could say the bus, B-U-S, boom. You could say the truck, you know, boom. So whatever the riding vehicle is, motorcycle, boom. That's a pronoun for those. And a garage is where your vehicle goes under something, into and under something. So your garage becomes a roof with a vehicle under it. And it's a little bent. Okay, so that was a long list that was incomplete for an entire house, of course, but at least gives you some touch points. And I'm just going to run through all of them again. Question, how do you say you understand, and probably also that you don't understand? So understand is you take, you know, like if you're going to flick something, so you get your flicker index finger off of your thumb and you point it up and you say, I understand. You nod your head and you flick at the same time. I understand. If you don't understand, you look puzzled, you flick and you say no. So the only difference between understand and I don't understand is your head and your facial expression. And the way you ask somebody if they understand, you give them the, you know, the arched eyebrow thing, the lifted eyebrows. Do you understand? And then you can turn around and do this as a question. So, understand? And someone will say, understood, or don't understand. All right, back to the beginning. We're going to go with wake up. Close eyes, wake up. Bath. Shower. Get dressed. get dressed. Breakfast. Eat plus morning, breakfast. Brush teeth. Brush hair. Go to school. Or go to school. Watch TV. Outside play. Outside play. Dinner. Eat at night. Dinner. Homework. Homework. There's a question, good one. Would outside play be used for recess at school, or is that a different sign? So most of the time, to follow ASL correctly, yes, it would be outside play. Time for outside play, which is time for recess. But there are some kids who you might see who use R, and they do this. Recess. But to be linguistically correct, read a story. Book. Read. Tell a story. Go to bed. Go to bed. Or go to bed. Take your fingers and slide it in there. It's a little more informal. If you were out at a party, you wouldn't tell somebody that, you know, I went to bed at 10. You would say, you know, I went to bed. But within an informal group, going to bed. Car. Keys. As opposed to start. Kitchen. Make a K. For kitchen. Bedroom. Bed plus room. Bedroom. Living room. Living room. Or living room. Bathroom. Stove. Sink. Sink. Fridge. Freezer. bed, pillow, couch, chair, table, rocking chair, toilet, floor, wall, ceiling, door. These are all done with a B hand shape. And window. TV, computer, plate, bowl, fork, knife, spoon, chopsticks, cup, cook, clean. Something is clean or clean something. Wash. If you're going to wash your hands, you just wash your hands. You wouldn't wash your hands. You would just wash your hands. Use the motions. Laundry. 2 claw hands. Drawer. Pull it out. Pot or a pan. So a pot would be kind of a square with a handle that goes on the stove. And a pan, like a frying pan, with a handle that goes on the stove. Comb or brush. Clarify with the finger spell if you need to. Medicine. Middle finger, middle of your palm. Money. Sweep. Soap. phone. Garage. Your car goes in underneath the little roof. Garage. And that is the end of our lesson today. Thanks for coming. Bye. See you next time.